Paragraph 2 of the offer is the broker relations and compensation section. This could be a little confusing because there's been a big change since just a year or two ago when the National Association of Realtors got involved in a litigation that really changed the way broker compensation has been handled across the country. It used to be that the seller would pay for both sides of the transaction. So they would pay for their real estate agent and they would pay for your real estate agent. That is no longer necessarily the case. The listing agent can agree to pay no buyer agent compensation. So this is something that is really important that a buyer has spoken with their agent about upfront so that they understand what their obligation will be if they put an offer in on a house where the seller is refusing to pay any buyer's agent compensation. That might mean that the buyer is agreeing to pay their own compensation. This section of the contract allows you to state what your offer is in, in regards to the buyer broker compensation. So you can say that our offer is contingent on the seller paying 2% to our buyer's agent. It could be any combination of percentages based on what you've agreed to pay your agent versus what the seller is agreeing to pay the agent. That's all negotiable. One of the strategies that we recommend is if you find there's a property and you're hearing that, usually you hear this unfortunately through your agent, that the seller is not willing to provide buyer's agent compensation. What you can do is come up with a price that everyone agrees upon. So, for example, you could agree upon the sale price is $300,000. And now the question is, well, who's going to pay the 2% to your buyer's agent? You could say, well, let's see, 2% of the $300,000 is $6,000. So why don't we make this $306,000 for the sale price, but the seller agrees to pay buyer's agent $6,000. So now everybody's happy and you're able to avoid a larger fee that you may not have the cash for, and that we're hoping that you are going to get the seller to pay for that compensation. So that's something that we recommend you do, and you really have to pay attention to this so you don't accidentally put yourself in a position where you're paying more closing costs than you had expected.